Children's products subject to the CPSIA must comply with rules that require third-party testing and the issuance of a CPC. And in this brief tutorial, I will explain how you can identify rules that could potentially apply to your product, and once you've done so, how you can take the next step. So, as you can see, many of these children's product safety rules, they are product specific. Some apply specifically to bedside sleepers, bicycles, bunk beds. Okay, so it's quite clear. You're selling a bunk bed, you want to look at part 1513. But it can also be a matter of components. You sell a product containing a button cell battery, well, you have to take these into consideration. Likewise, if you sell something that comes with magnets, then you have to comply with 1262. Okay, so some are product specific, others apply to components, and then you also have those that set restrictions for substances. And as testing is mandatory, this means is that you still have to do testing, because that's really the only way to verify if the substance is present or not. Okay? Another rule that I want to highlight is the one concerning children's toys, because that's a very broad category. Just to be clear, you will not find standards or rules specific to all sorts of toys. Instead, they have sort of a catch-all, so that's under children's toys. So just to repeat, you have a variety of different types here. Some apply to specific products, some apply to certain components, others apply to, let's say, wider groups of products, and some apply to substances like phthalates or lead. Okay? Now what this means is that your product could be subject to more than one of these. Imagine a high chair containing a magnet, and you still have to do the phthalate testing. Okay, so you can have more than one to take into consideration. That's very often the case. Now, what are the practical implications of these? Now, part 1250, it essentially states that children's toys must comply with ASTM F963. What this means is that ASTM F963, which is a standard incorporated by reference, is what really contains the safety requirements. You have legislation, you have a regulation in the ECFR here that mandates compliance with a product standard. Okay, and that's a concept that's important to understand, because you will find that also for certain other products. Now, we cannot find full versions of standards within the ECFR. Luckily, in the United States, you can, in some cases, find read-only copies that are freely available. I'm not going to do so, but go to the ECFR. Well, you start by selecting you identify the children's product safety rule that may apply. You go into the ECFR, which you can do on the right here, and then in the cases when you have a standard incorporated by reference, then you may be able to find a read-only copy. Okay. Now, why does this matter? Because it is actually ASTM F963 which provides us with technical specifications, with numbers and pictograms and so on, basically explaining what you must do in order to design a toy in a way that's safe, okay? To make sure it can pass testing, because that's ultimately where this all leads. But before that, you must design the product properly. You need to make sure it's designed for compliance, that it's designed in a safe way. And that's the information you will find within ASTM F963, okay? Now, let's have a look at another type, let's say a different category, and that would be button cell and coin batteries under part 1263.4. And in this case, you will find labeling requirements. It's providing us right here within the ECFR with detailed information about the information that must be present, where it must be placed, the letter size. Okay, so you can see it's quite specific, and even a sample a sample of the full warning label that must actually be present. And this is a warning label for products containing button cell batteries. So that's really the essence. Just to repeat, your job is to identify the children's product safety rules that you can find in the table. You have to look for those matching your product, matching components in your product, category, those that apply to specific categories like toys. And then you also have those that require testing for certain substances. So your job is to identify the parts that apply to your product, and then you can go into the ECFR to access information and access copies of product standards and warning labels and other requirements.